Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing on today? I am super duper excited, guys, because I get to hang out with Helen Fripp on today. And, guys, we're going to be talking about her latest release that is hot off the press, The Girl from Provence. Oh, my goodness, Helen. I am so excited to have you at the cafe on today to talk about your new release. So, I want to allow you the opportunity to introduce yourself, my friend.
Hi, I'm Helen. I wrote The Girl from Provence, and I normally base my books in France in kind of various different time periods. So I'm so excited to have released this book this week.
I love that. I love that. And of course, this is historical fiction. It's a World War II novel as well. Now, Helen, when you think about your writing and writing historical fiction or what have you, would you say that historical fiction found you or did you find it?
Good question. I've always loved it. Funnily enough, I was terrible at school. I didn't listen, I didn't do enough work, but my history teacher in despair, got me to read this book, and it was called Queen in Waiting, and it was
Oh,
a historical novel, and it just got me like just the idea that you could kind of make up these stories around the facts. Just it was like one of those little kind of light bulb moments that you get. And ever since then, I've loved historical fiction, and I love walking around old houses and kind of imagining what the people would have been like. So, yeah, I guess maybe it found me. Yeah.
wow, wow. Now, Helen, I want to ask you this. I am a book cover nerd as well. So I love a good book cover. And of course, this particular book cover, The Girl from Provence, it is definitely your typical historical fiction. She's facing backwards. Of course, it lets us know you have the airplanes, the warplanes, that's in the sky, all of that good stuff as well. Can you share with us what was it like? And I'm pulling it up so I can share the cover. Oh my goodness, love this cover. But what was it like when you saw this cover for this book?
No, it's weird because I would have my own idea of what that cover would look like, but I have nothing to do with the whole process. And I, always try and send the publishers pictures that I really like, and they just like say, yeah, yeah, lovely, and put them to one side and do their own thing. But I really love this cover. I just love the night sky. The night sky is involved in the book, and the lavender fields, which of course was such an inspiration and so beautiful in the south of France. So to me, they kind of got everything right. So yeah, it's amazing to see this thing that you've been working on your own, come to life in that way.
I love that. I love that. In addition to the cover, if you could spill a little bit of tea for us, The Girl from Provence, was this Helen's original working title or the title kind of evolved? Share a little bit about that for
No,
us.
I have working titles for all my books that again the publisher completely and utterly ignores. So this one was my working title was called The Stars Stop Shining. Um,
Oh,
and but the publishers, again they have complete control over the final title. But I like the title as well. Like, it's I guess, I would have some kind of highfalutin title, but they just choose something which everybody's going to understand and has a broad appeal. So yeah, and I think with the cover as well, it works really well.
I love that. I love that. Guys, if you are just joining us, we are hanging out with Helen Fripp on today, guys. Her new release that is hot off the press this week, The Girl from Provence. Guys, take a look at that cover. I'm in love with it. Oh my goodness. As well. And she is sharing with us. So, of course, if you are just joining us, you know what to do it here at the cafe and like, tag, and share. Tell a friend to come on down and grab a cup of tea, grab a cup of coffee, whatever your beverage of choice for this lunchtime interview with Helen Fripp on today. Now, Helen, I want to ask you this, my friend. Now, we talked a little bit about the cover and we talked a little bit about the title or what have you, but can you share a little bit with us? What do you enjoy about writing historical fiction, including that World War II era as well?
Um, I just, like I said before, I love old things. I love wandering around old houses, or, I really like traveling as well. So I'm wandering around, and you obviously read about the history of where you are. And I just start to wonder, what was it like? What was it like to live in that time? What was it like to be that person? What conversations did they have? So
Hmm.
I love that. And also, I find that if I'm in the place that I'm writing about, and like I say, I often write about France, it just makes such a difference. It's so inspirational wandering through the lavender fields, or, being in Nice, wandering along the Promenade des Anglais. Yeah, and then my mind just starts wandering, and it's just such a pleasure to then kind of turn that into a story. I feel like the luckiest person in the world being able to do this and get it out into the world.
I love that. I love that. And I love how even France, like it has a backdrop, like it's almost like a character in itself. And I love the details and the descriptions where you give us that feeling like we're right there, or what have you for the characters and the atmosphere that you have created as well. Now, for the girl from Provence, can you share with us what inspired like this story? Like what, was it something that you saw, something that you read? Or what inspired this story? Because this is an amazing story.
Yeah, I heard a story about um, a fighter pilot who'd been shot down, and in, I think it was 1992 or something, they found his identity bracelet in
Oh,
the of Marseille, and then fast forward another 10 years, and a German Luftwaffe pilot heard about this story and was absolutely sure it was him that had done it. And the pilot that was shot down was also a really famous author who wrote The Little Prince, a children's book. And the German pilot was devastated because it was his favourite childhood book. And so I heard about this story, and I just thought, oh my God, that's amazing. It gave me goose pimples. And my story went in all sorts of other directions, but those two people are involved in the story. And so that, and also I actually lived in the south of France for a little while, and
wow.
which was amazing. And it just so happened that the guy that ran the local museum had interviewed every single person in the village who had had anything to do with the resistance, and he had written it all down, he'd kept all their letters, he'd taken photographs, and every week I used to go into this museum and he would lay out this trestle table, and just let me loose on all these amazing archives. And so all these stories emerged from these visits and talking to the local people. So, it was, the whole thing was just such an inspiration, and I met so many amazing people through these archives who had been so brave and joined the resistance during the World War II.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Now, Helen, you have to spill a little bit of tea, okay? Because this is such a rich story or what have you. But for you, what came first? Was it these amazing characters or was it the plot?
Aha. Well, that's a good question. I normally start with the characters. I normally read
Okay.
someone and think, oh my God, they sound amazing. Who were they? But this time was a little bit different. I did start with the plot, sort of, and the characters. So it's a mixture of real and imagined characters. So my three real characters are Marie-Madeleine Foursard, who was this kind of society board hostess who became a resistance leader and was just incredibly brave. Um,
Yes.
Tonio de Saint-Exupéry, who was the World War II pilot and also the author of The Little Prince, and also an abbé in the village where I was kind of doing all my research, who, by all accounts, slept with a rifle under his bed and hid a radio in the clock tower and was incredibly brave too. So I started with those three characters, and then the other ones just kind of suggested themselves to me. So my kind of main character is Lilu. She's 21 and she lives on a local farm. She is a beekeeper. She kind of looks after sheep, and she has this sort of enormous sheepdog Scout who features quite large
Yes.
as well. So they just kind of suggested themselves to me, and then I've got a German pilot, and we don't know too much about him, but he and Lilo have got a connection through their love of astronomy. And then
Yes.
a little boy, Elliot, who is a Jewish boy who is given to Lilo to look after when she joins the resistance. And he holds a secret that the Nazis want him for. And so Lilo assigns her sheepdog, Scout, to look after this little boy along with her. And when she gets him, he's so traumatized because his parents have been taken away that he will only speak to people through this sheepdog who
Yeah.
seems to understand him. So they form a connection as well. So all these people become connected and the story unfolds.
Yes, yes. And I love the fact that in moments in the book, and I'm sure with you writing it, I'm sure you felt it, there were some intense moments because I mean, the resistor, they was doing some important work, but dangerous work. I mean, if they got caught, it's like, they had a choice, it's like, okay, take your own life or, because of course they couldn't rat out the other individuals that they were working for, or what have you. But if you can share with us, we're going to talk about some of the characters just a little bit. And if you could describe some of these characters to us, or what have you. Let's start with, is it Marie Madeleine? How
Yes.
would you
Yeah.
describe her character for us?
Well, I would say that she's the society hostess who's kind of turned resistance leader, and she has this kind of steely aspect to her that she finds during the war, and she knows that she can't get too sentimental about any of the agents that she's sending out into the field. So she has to be this kind of steely character, and so
Yeah.
maybe one of her flaws is that she can't relate to people very well because she's kind of created this barrier around herself. But
Yeah.
what that helps her with is being able to, be incredibly brave, make all these kind of narrow escapes, and make sure that she's sort of holding on to all the information and all the people that are out there. So that's Mary Madeleine.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Now, tell us a little bit about the Abbe. Oh my goodness, tell us about him.
Yeah, I love the Abbe. He has his kind of sheep in this little village. Sheep, as in, the villagers, and he's quite fierce. He doesn't, he won't take rubbish from anybody, but he is also incredibly sentimental, and he's brave too. And he just completely takes against anyone that sides with the Germans because, of course, the French were occupied, so they didn't actually
Right.
war until much later in the war. So he is Lilu's kind of stalwart, and he's the guy who has the radio in his clock tower. He's passing messages between all the local people who are in the resistance. So he's just a brilliant character. His church is basically a hub for the resistance. He's got thousands of francs hidden in the crypt, and he's yeah. How can I describe him? He's a sort of a fierce fighter.
And speaking of that, of course we have to talk about Lilu, and her character or what have you. I'll let you share a little bit about her, and then I also want to ask you a little bit about what your research was like, because sometimes they have to put stuff in some interesting locations or what have you, and they're creative. Or what have you. But before we go into that, how would you describe Lilu's character for us?
Lilu, she kind of is of the land. She when I visited France a lot, and even in the kind of 70s, France was still a quite rural place in some places. So she kind of lives this life up in the foothills of the mountains, kind of living the life that probably people had lived for thousands of years before her. She had her sheep, she had her bees, she had her lavender fields. She knows the territory really, really well, which is why she's so useful to the resistance.
Oh yeah.
And want to let go of that. She doesn't want to believe that these Germans are going to come, to her little valley
Right, right.
nowhere, even though she knows the war is happening somewhere else, and she just hopes that it won't happen to them. And when it does, it takes her a while to kind of understand that, she
Yes.
either does nothing or she fights, and she decides to fight.
To fight. Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. Now, you shared a little bit about some of the characters for us or what have you. But again, I definitely want to dive into what your research was like because, like I said a few minutes ago, yeah, they kind of had to code stuff and put stuff in some interesting areas or what have you. But what was your research like for just for this book in general? And then how did you kind of come up with some of those ideas, or were there things that you got from certain places and then you kind of fit it in to work for this book?
Yeah, I mean, what I discovered in war, everything happens. There's all these little side stories. We know from history, we know the bigger pictures, but if you look into kind of what's happening socially, like versions of everything can happen. And a lot of it's quite kind of lo-fi. So you've got all these generals kind of trying to control everything, but then it's so uncontrollable as well. So Lilu ends up meeting Lysanders, and Lysanders are little planes that fly from the UK with like supplies and agents and things, and they can only fly by the light of the moon. And so because Lilu knows the territory so well, she's perfectly placed to go meet these planes and kind of spirit people away to where they need to
Yeah.
go. And I did so much research. I became a complete nerd on like different kinds of aeroplanes that were used in World War II. The Special Operations Executive was the kind of body in the UK that supplied the French resistance with money and resources, and then in return the resistance kind of supplied them with information. And so Churchill apparently called them the Bureau of Ungentlemanly Conduct because they was quite kind of underhand in their tactics. But ended up being quite instrumental in winning the war.
Wow. Now, I want to ask you this, Helen, because, and of course, with you writing historical fiction, with you writing books that take place during the World War II era, what have you, for me, even in reading this particular story and other World War II historical fiction stories that I have read, it's almost like the women they were prominent, meaning that some of them did some amazing things like behind the scenes to protect individuals, or like you said, to get messages, to do different things. What was that like to shine light on women during that time and some of the things that they were doing behind the scene that was quite dangerous, that literally it was almost like they were a human sacrifice in some instances, like if they was to get caught of what they was doing. So how important was that for you to shed that light on them and their stories?
Yeah, it was very important because they were different times, and a lot of what these women did just wasn't documented. They weren't
Exactly.
people. So that felt really important. And, because they were different times as well, they got away with a lot more than maybe a man would.
Right.
Because no one believed women were like capable of, deception or bravery or anything like that. So in particular, Mary Magdalene Foursard, she kind of got lost in history a bit, but she did, control thousands of agents and made all these narrow escapes, and was, she was tortured in prison. She spent 8 hours in the back, in a kind of a mail bag in someone's boot, and she was always making these kind of narrow escapes. So yeah, it was really important to me to shed light, and of course people like Lilu were left behind to kind of keep the home fires burning, but they were also very, very bravely running messages.
Yes.
It was almost certain death. So women took a lot of risks to help the war effort.
They sure did. Guys, if you
Mm.
are just joining us, we are hanging out with Helen Fripp on today, guys. Her hot off the press novel, The Girl from Provence. It is available. We will definitely be sharing with you how you can get your hands on a copy of this amazing, amazing historical fiction novel as well. And of course, like we said, like, tag, and share, tell a friend to come on down and join us here at the cafe. Now, Helen, when you think about the characters, it could be some of the characters that we've talked about, some that we haven't talked about in this story. Is there a character for you that was kind of like the most interesting or fun, perhaps, to write? But on the flip side, is there also a character that at moments was a little complex, may have gave you pause, that you had to sit with that character? So kind of a two-part question for you.
Yeah, I think with all my books, I find I have like a kind of favorite outlier, because of course you love your main characters, but I think Tonio de Saint-Exupéry, I just loved
Ooh.
him. He, like I say, he really existed, and I did loads of research on him, and I think I would have loved to have met him because he was like eccentric, he was larger than life, he was this
Yes.
thing. He was this dashing kind of airline pilot, and he used to fly the very early planes from Paris to South America, mail planes. He crashed in the desert. He kind of walked away, but he was, I think he surprised people when he met them because he was just a bit kind of disheveled as well, and he always had his flying suit done up not quite right, and he was a big man.
Right.
Often they didn't fit him quite rightly, but then he wrote about flying, and he wrote in the most beautiful kind of lyrical way about kind of cutting sways through the night sky and the peace. And he used to kind of go up and read novels just because it was peaceful up there. So he was just a really interesting character. And then he wrote this book, The Little Prince, which is like ostensibly a children's book, but very kind of wise. And so I use quite a lot of those kind of themes in the book, especially when it comes to the little boy Elliot. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I've just kind of adore him, yeah, and wish that I could have met him. And I suppose a character that I didn't enjoy writing. I mean, it was hard researching World War II. It was really sad. So many awful things happened, and I didn't want to shy away from that either. I knew where I wanted all my characters to go, but I didn't want to kind of sugarcoat what was happening. So, I have written some quite brutal scenes, and there's one particular person from the Gestapo who is basically evil. He's just a kind of evil person, and he was given so much power, and he wielded it in the most horrible way. So I found that very difficult to write, and sometimes I'd be writing these scenes and literally feeling sick. So yeah, it's I suppose I feel like we all kind of vaguely know what happened, but to retell these stories as well, I think it's important to learn the lessons of history, especially the world the way it is at the moment. So
Thank you for sharing that. And of course, guys, and Helen is going to read for us a snippet of The Girl from Provence. I'm going to allow her to set the scene so we'll know what she's getting ready to share. And Helen, we are ready when you are, my friend.
well, I prepared just the opening paragraphs, which really hopefully will set the scene of the book for you. So it's set in the south of France in 1942. Lulu and Freddie shared the bike down the hill, him pedaling too fast, her balancing on the saddle, the big baker's basket on the handlebars filled with honey from their farm. It was All Saints' Day, a festive, bright and cold November morning, sharp-focused and crisp. The dense oak forest that clung on to the hills and valleys had dropped a crackling carpet of fiery leaves, and a feast of acorns and chestnuts for the wild boar. Jays flashed iridescent blue and autumn blush amongst the trees, and sunrise blazed on the mountains. Her beautiful Provence, with its soaring peaks, vineyards, fragrant fields, mild air, and the sea that spread out like a glittering silk ball gown. The land, the mellow stone, the fountains and the people, so full of fun and grit, were in her soul. For some reason today, it all seemed extra precious, as though the breeze that caught her hair was bringing with it a change to everything she held dear. So
Thank you
that's
so much, guys. She just shared with us a little bit from the girl from Provence. And yes, we will be sharing with you how you can get your hands on a copy of this story, guys. It is an amazing, amazing read. You would definitely enjoy this historical fiction World War II story as well. Now, of course, Helen, we have to play a round of this or that, my friend. I promise you, it is all things according to Helen. So there is no right or wrong answer. Are you
okay.
ready, my friend?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right. This or that. First up, countryside or big city? Countryside or big city?
I think big city. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is Helen a morning person or a night owl? A morning person or night owl?
I am definitely a morning person. My husband, I drive him mad. I'm up at 5 o'clock, wide awake, kind of ready to go.
Okay. Helen, glass half full or glass half empty?
Definitely half full. I always look on the bright side of life. Yeah. Always try to make the most of everything.
Okay, I love that. I love that. Now, Helen, are we going on a plane ride or are we taking a road trip, my friend? Plane ride or road trip?
I am taking a road trip. I hate flying. I don't like being all that way up in the sky. I always feel like road trip any day.
I love that. I love that. Okay, now, Helen, this next one, we got to know here at the cafe. Are you team tea or are you team coffee?
Coffee all the way. I don't, I'm English, but I just don't drink tea anymore. I love coffee. I love a good cappuccino or a flat white. Yeah. Keeps me going.
I
I've
love
done
that.
much of it.
I love that. I love that. And of course, guys, there is a giveaway on today. I'm going to allow Helen to share with us what her giveaway is going to be on today.
So we are giving away a copy of The Girl from Provence, either in Kindle form or print, whatever you prefer. So yeah, I'm excited to share the giveaway with you.
I love that, guys. And there you have it. She's giving away The Girl from Provence, and it will be a reader's choice. You will let her know if you want it in print or ebook or Kindle, or what have you. And Helen, I'm going to get you to help me, my friend. We're going to go
Okay.
up and down the comment section. You're going to tell me when to stop, and that person will be the winner of today's giveaway. Okay, I am ready when you are.
Hang on, where are the comments? I don't know if I can see them.
Oh, I have them on my side, so you may can't see them.
I see.
I
I
got you.
just
So
like.
just
I
tell me when to stop, and then
get
I'll put them on the
fine.
screen.
Right. Stop.
Okay. Let's see. Dr. Velma Bagby with a big city. You are the winner of the giveaway on today, my friend. If you would inbox me your information, and when you inbox me, let me know if you want a ebook copy or a print copy, and we will definitely get that information out for you. So congratulations. Thank you so much for joining us on today. Now, Helen, I want to ask you this, my friend. Can you share with us what did you enjoy about bringing this amazing story to life, The Girl from Provence?
Ah, that's a big question. I love being a writer. I love exploring all the stories. And I suppose that the best moment is when you kind of finished and there are some difficult moments, there are some great moments, there are some boring moments. Just that moment where you've got the cover, you've got the whole thing, and actually when they always make my books into an audiobook, and just hearing somebody else reading it kind of gives it a different slant.
Mm.
Almost as if I haven't written it, so I'm kind of hearing it anew, and that's really exciting
It is.
yeah.
And
So
and
those
Helen, you
moments.
look, and you may feel the same way, but when I listen to an audiobook, I have deemed that I was like, it's like next level reading. It's a whole nother level of reading to
Mm.
actually hear what the author have crafted and put on the pages or what have you. To listen to it is just like amazing as well. So it's interesting that you mentioned that sometimes when you listen to your book on audio or what have you, that feeling of excitement that you get as well. That is super cool. And speaking of that, Helen, spill us a little bit of tea about you. What, for Helen, do you have any writing quirks or writing must-haves when you're in the writing cave?
Yeah, I think the main one really, which is a bit boring probably, but just do it because, it's so easy to think, oh, I'm not quite sitting in the right place, or the view's not right, or, I haven't got time today, or I'm not feeling it. And I just always think of a Tom Wolfe quote actually, and he wrote that, generally his writing's just as good when he's not feeling inspired as when he is. And I think ultimately, you've just got to get on and do it. And then quite often the magic's in the edit. So if you there seem to be loads of different kind of processes to writing. So, there's getting it down. There's those moments when you feel really inspired and you just want to describe something lovely or kind of get across how somebody's feeling. And then there's the kind of work-a-day part of it where you're, almost like a work person, just like making it, shaping it and making it how it should be and making sure the narrative is working. So there's all sorts of different ways. So yeah, I'm quite a sociable person, so, and it's quite a solitary thing, writing, but I've got all sorts of ways of kind of mitigating that as well. I often go to cafes and write, and I've got someone in France who, we read each other's stuff and we talk all the time. So yeah, I still find plenty of kind of opportunities to chat as well as write.
I love that. I love that. And of course, guys, if you are just joining us, we're hanging out with Helen Fripp on today, the girl from Provence. And I'm sure you guys are waiting to hear how you can get your hands on a copy of this. And Helen just shared with us, it is available not only in ebook as well as print. Now, Helen, is this one available in audio now, or just your backlist that's available in
Yeah, so
audio?
that one is available now in audio. So you can get it obviously on Kindle, or you can get it from bookstores as well. And if they don't have it, they can order it in for you. So
I
yeah.
love that. I love that. Can you share with them how they can get their hands on a copy of it? Can they go to your website? Can you share with them how they can get their hands on a copy of this book?
Yeah, so they could go to my website, which is helenfrippauthor.co.uk. Or they can go to Amazon and search Helen Fripp, the girl from Provence. Or they can go into any bookstore, and like I say, if it's not on the shelves, then they can order a copy in.
I love that. I love that, guys. We will definitely be putting in the comment section where you can get a copy of this book. We'll also put Helen's website in the comment section as well. And I'm sure you guys want to know how you can stay connected with Helen as well. So, Helen, if you can share with us, how can we stay connected with you?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I love hearing from people, and I'm having to look up what all my handles are because I never remember. But Instagram, I'm Helen Fripp Author, and on Facebook, I'm H Fripp Author, and on X, Twitter, I'm at Helen Fripp. So you can find me kind of all across socials, and do send me a message anyway. I love to chat.
I love that. I love that. And guys, also you can go to the Bookager website, which is Helen's publisher for The Girl from Provence as well. And of course, guys, you can go and check out Helen's backlist as well. You can read The Girl from Provence as well as any of the books from her backlist as well. And guys, of course, once you read this amazing story, definitely leave a review. I know that Helen will be so appreciative of that. And in addition, tell a friend to tell a friend to check out this amazing story. And of course, you may even want to buddy read, so you will have somebody to talk to along the way about this great story as well. Helen, it has been amazing hanging out with you on today. And first, I want to say a happy new release, because this is your release week for this book, The Girl from Provence. Guys, I know that you are going to enjoy this story as well. And so, Helen, before we leave, I want to allow you, my friend, to have the last words of what you want to say to the people.
Well, I just really hope you enjoy the book. Please, as Angela says, leave a review if you like it, or maybe even if you don't. And yeah, I'm just sending you lots of warm Provençal sunshine from here in the chilly UK.
I love that. I love that. And again, Helen, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank all of you for joining us as well. I would definitely make sure you are following. I'm Helen Fripp. If you go to her website, sign up for her newsletter, all of that good stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend about her amazing story as well. And of course, if you're not doing so already, you can follow me and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Angela Anderson's YouTube. Of course, you can follow me on Facebook. Angela Anderson Presents. I'm on Instagram as well. And definitely tell a friend to tell a friend, even if you have to go back and watch the replay about this amazing, amazing story as well. And that's our time on today. And as we always say, have an amazing day because we're having an amazing day. And until next time, we'll see you later. Have an amazing day and make sure you go read The Girl from Provence. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.